The road to the 2025 Kentucky Derby is filled with thrilling upsets, breakout performances, and rising stars chasing history. Some colts are surging to the top, while others are watching their Derby dreams slip away. Who's peaking at the right time, and who's falling off the pace? Let's break down the hottest and coldest contenders on the Derby Trail. First, let's take a look at the 3 colts who are heating up on the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail. At number 1, we have American Promise, stormed onto the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail with a jaw-dropping performance in the Virginia Derby, setting a new track record at Colonial Downs with a commanding 7 3/4 length victory. Trained by Hall of Famer D. Wayne Lucas, this Justify-sired colt had previously struggled in stakes competition, finishing unplaced in both the Southwest Stakes and Fasig-Tipton-Risen Star Stakes. However, his explosive speed in the Virginia Derby, coupled with a 101 Equibase speed figure and 95 Beyer speed figure, indicates that he may have turned a corner. As a half-brother to graded stakes winner Hoosier Philly, his pedigree suggests immense talent, but inconsistency remains a concern. His 2 wins, 1 second and 1 third in 9 starts, highlight his unpredictability, making him both an exciting and risky prospect. While the Virginia Derby showcased his raw ability, his final 3/8 in 38.02 seconds raised doubts about his finishing power. The Oaklawn Maiden winner might still be maturing, as Lucas described him as a gangly kid growing into his body, but can he sustain his brilliance against top-tier competition? With the Kentucky Derby looming, American Promise must prove that his Virginia Derby romp was no fluke and not simply a product of a speed-favoring track. If he can refine his late-race stamina, he could be a legitimate contender, but the Derby distance of 1 1/4 miles presents a significant challenge. Coming in at number 2, Owen Almighty, never finishing worse than second in 6 starts, making him a reliable name on the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail. His latest triumph in the Lamb-Holmes South Tampa Bay Derby displayed an entirely different kind of brilliance from American Promise. Where the latter burned up the track early and faded late, Owen Almighty set a controlled pace before closing with a devastating turn of foot. The son of champion sprinter Speightstown, trained by Brian Lynch, clocked a final quarter in a blistering 23.51 and a final furlong in 11.67, proving he has an elite finishing kick. His 98 Equibase and 92 Beyer speed figures marked new career highs, and his ability to sustain momentum late makes him a formidable threat in upcoming Derby preps. However, Lynch has expressed concerns about his colt's ability to handle the grueling 1 1/4 mile distance of the Kentucky Derby, citing Speightstown's reputation as a speed-oriented sire. While Owen Almighty's dam was a 2-turn winner and runner-up in the Grade 2 Fairgrounds Oaks, the true test will come when he faces elite competition over longer distances. At number 3, enter the newcomer, Lion of Justice. Maybe a fresh face on the scene, but his electrifying debut victory suggests he could be a future star on the Triple Crown Trail. The Brad Cox-trained colt set a scorching early pace at Colonial Downs, blazing through a half-mile in 45.34 before finishing strong with a final quarter mile in 24.64 and a final 8th in 12.42. His winning time of 1 minute 33.87 for a mile was just fractions off the track record, a remarkable feat for a first-time starter. By leading Sire into mischief and out of Ever So Clever, a Medaglia d'Oro mare who won the 1/16-mile Fantasy Stakes, Lion of Justice has both speed and stamina in his pedigree. His 92 Equibase and 92 Beyer speed figures make him an exciting wild card on the Kentucky Derby Trail. But the biggest challenge will be stepping up in class quickly. While expecting him to leap from maiden special weight company into a Kentucky Derby preparation race is ambitious, his raw talent and high cruising speed suggest he could be a major player in the Preakness Stakes or Belmont Stakes if he progresses steadily. While 3 standouts made the heating up list, a few others nearly cracked the rankings but fell just short of inclusion. Rendered Judgment, runner-up in the Virginia Derby, put in a commendable performance at 21-1 odds, leaping to 14th on the road to the Kentucky Derby leaderboard. However, despite outperforming expectations, he still finished a distant 7 3/4 lengths behind American Promise and has yet to make a serious impact in 4 Derby Trail attempts. He's a game competitor, but the numbers suggest he's not quite at the elite level needed to contend on the first Saturday in May. Chancer McPatrick, second in the Tampa Bay Derby, delivered a solid return following a 4-month layoff and minor ankle surgery. Though his 93 Equibase and 86 Beyer speed figures were respectable, they didn't significantly boost his Derby stock. As a multiple Grade 1 winner at 2, his next start will be a defining moment in determining whether he can reassert himself as a legitimate contender. Now, let's shift focus to the three colts whose chances on the 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail are cooling down. At number 4, we have Getaway Car, looked like a serious Kentucky Derby hopeful after his determined victory in the Sunland Park Derby, where he battled fiercely to edge out Caldera by a nose. As a Grade 3 winner and a Grade 1 placed juvenile, his resume suggested a colt with the grit to compete at the highest level. However, his most recent effort in the Virginia Derby raised serious concerns. Sent off as the 4-5 favorite, Getaway Car set the early pace but quickly faded when challenged, finishing 4th and a disappointing 8 3/4 lengths behind American Promise. His 88 Equibase speed figure was his lowest since September 2024, a clear sign that he may be regressing rather than improving at this crucial stage of the Derby preparation season. His runner-up finish in the Grade 2 Los Alamitos Futurity last year gained credibility when winter journalism dominated the DK Horse San Felipe Stakes, but Getaway Car has yet to display that same explosive ability in 2025. At number 5, meet Patch Adams. Burst onto the racing scene with a jaw-dropping 10.5 length maiden win at Churchill Downs, a performance that sent expectations soaring. As a son of elite sire into mischief out of stakes-winning mare Well-Humored, his pedigree screamed potential, and early projections placed him among the leading Derby contenders. However, the reality has been far less promising. Despite going off as the favorite in all 4 of his career starts, Patch Adams has only found the winner's circle once, and his transition into stakes company has been underwhelming. His 4th place finishes in both the Southwest Stakes and Tampa Bay Derby exposed his inability to fire when it matters most. In the Tampa Bay Derby, he sat within striking distance of Owen Almighty before completely flattening out, finishing a dismal 10.5 lengths back. His performance raises serious doubts about his ability to handle the stiff competition and demanding distances of the Kentucky Derby. At number 6, enter Rapture, a hyped contender who fell flat. Rapture entered the Virginia Derby as a trendy, under-the-radar pick, fresh off a dominant 6.5 length allowance victory at Oaklawn Park that suggested he could be a rising star. Sent off as the 1.9 to 1 second choice behind heavy favorite Getaway Car, many expected him to be a major player in the 1 1/8 mile test. However, instead of stepping up against tougher competition, Rapture never looked comfortable and faded to a disappointing 6th, finishing 9 lengths behind winner American Promise. This effort was a major setback for the Uncle Mo colt, who needed to prove himself as a legitimate Derby contender, but instead showed that he may not be ready for this level of competition just yet. While Brad Cox is a master at developing young talent, Rapture's performance suggests he still has significant growing to do, both mentally and physically. The 2025 Kentucky Derby Trail is heating up, with rising stars and fading contenders shaping the race for glory. Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for all the latest racing insights.